Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Coffee Break with Christine. Today we are talking to Alicia from the Virtual Hustle. So we'll just wait a minute here for her to join. Here she comes. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Happy
I'm good.
Friday.
Happy Friday to you. How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah,
Still
I know.
staying
It's like,
inside for the most part. How about you?
it's going good. And even I woke up this morning and I'm like, you know what? It's Friday, but I feel like this was the first like long week. Whereas like before this, it just kind of felt like every day was its own week. Like now I
Yes.
feel like it's Friday because it was a long week. So that's a good feeling.
That's good. Well, that
Yeah.
means you must be busy working away, right?
Yeah, and I think that was the thing. It was like the first few weeks were so weird for everybody. I know it was for me and like in work and life and working out and everything was just so off. It kind of became its own routine now. So
I
uh,
agree.
it's becoming the new normal that everyone keeps saying, but it's like it's so true. It's just you have to make it what it is.
Absolutely.
So
So, well, thank you for joining me
yeah,
today.
thank you. This is such a great idea. I'm so excited that you're doing this. I watched a few of your
Oh,
other ones and I'm like, it's brilliant.
oh, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
especially during this time, a lot of businesses have suffered, and I just love giving visibility to women-run businesses. So I said, why not? Let's try it.
Such a
So,
great idea. Yeah. Well, thank
yeah.
you for having me on. I
Of
appreciate
course. Well, why
it.
don't we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself and your business and what you do and all that good stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So I am Alicia. I am in Huntington Beach, California, and I moved out here 5 years ago. I was working remotely at the time, and I had one customer that I just did online marketing for, some admin work. I was essentially a virtual assistant. And when I moved out here, just a lot of things happened, and I started to think like, oh, I could pull on more of these types of clients. And so I started to do that, but then I was just working so much and I had so much on my plate and I was essentially working for everybody else. And so I just a year and a month or two ago, so about a year and 3 months ago, I started my own marketing company called Brand Medix, where I focus on branded products and the strategy of getting those out. So I still work with other companies, obviously, very closely, but it's more of I have more. I get to put my own flair on it all, and it's just great working with other business owners, as you know.
I can't
So
believe it's
that's
been a year
I
already.
know.
That's
I can't
crazy.
either. It's been
I
such a
remember just when you were starting that and you were telling me about it.
yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy because it was kind of confusing for everybody, including me, for because for so long I still was working, on my own business of being a virtual assistant essentially. But now this is like a total shift where, okay, now I really need a billing team. Now I really need, so it kind of was a lot of learning. But yeah, so it's been a year and a few months. It's been going well, and even through all this, it's been good. And the virtual hustle has been keeping me very busy because that's been a passion project of mine for 5 years. 5 years when I started working remotely, when we first connected, I think
Yeah,
like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years. I always get confused. I'm like, how long have I been out here?
I know. Time
Um,
is just like this one big
it's
thing.
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So the virtual hustle, that whole world and community and now podcast is really for people who work remotely, people who are building their businesses online, which are freelancers, which are, any online businesses, e-commerce, really anything. And it's just
Hmm.
kind of a platform for people to learn and share ideas and kind of see what other people are doing. And that's how I kind of came up with the idea of making it into a podcast. So sorry for the
Amazing.
rant, but I wanted to just get a
No.
lot in a little amount of time.
No, and I also want to plug you with your Brand Medix side. Alicia helped me with Emprendedoras, which is the women's community in Spain that I started in January. And she did all of the t-shirts for us, the logo design and all of that. So everyone loves them. Everyone raves about them. So thank you so
Right.
much for doing
Of
that.
course. Yeah, I know. And that's the best part. Like one working with your friends and working with
Hmm.
a business that you really can support and understand and love. So that's like really where the shift was made. It's like working it's tough, owning a business, you really do have to kind of choose who you work with, because
Absolutely.
you chose to make this, your own business. Why do you want to be in, you know, misery working with on projects that you don't like and with people that aren't just compatible with what you're doing? So working with you has been great. And I have a lot of other customers that it's just such a pleasure to work with. So
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think you and I are a great example of we met online, we followed each other, we support each other all the time, we
sure.
post things for each other, we know whatever each one has going on at the time, and today we've built even a working relationship. So it's kind of we're that perfect example of the networking from a distance and
So true.
really making it come to fruition. So
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Um, so do you have a mission statement for your business, or I'm curious, like, what's your favorite part of your business also?
For Brand Medix or for
For either one.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Brand Medix really is just doing the best I can to get their brand and their mission statement out. So it
Hmm.
really is for me is like understanding that business so much where I can give ideas of product and kind of strategies of getting that product out there in order to build their brand awareness. And a lot of that is like giving out, items with a membership, or maybe it's a contest that if someone really likes a product, they're going to want to join your whatever you're doing for your contest. Maybe it's joining your email list, maybe it's joining your Instagram, maybe they're following you now. It's like there's so many things that build into a brand, and having your community is like the most important part. And now it's great because it's like, okay, there's no trade shows, right? Where there's no like events, there's no trade shows, there's no things like that, but you can really use the internet and this type of connection to build trust and start relationships, and through branded products is a really great way because people are like, oh, I get a gift now, this is great. So they already
Yes.
kind of start off with that like nice feeling.
People love free for sure.
For
And
sure.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to tell everyone to plug you again. Your products are so awesome. You go to these trade shows and you pick the coolest things. Like
Yeah,
you show them on your stories and I'm like, I wouldn't even ever think of having like
for
a
sure.
branded product like that. And now you're doing the masks with COVID.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about COVID and like how has that
uh,
affected your business, your productivity? Do you have any productivity tips for everyone who's watching?
yeah, so I mean, with everybody, this has been a huge change in life and in business and in work. So a lot of the projects I was working on pre-COVID completely just stopped, and it was like such a bizarre feeling when all of
Hmm.
your events that you had lined up that you worked towards for months
Oh,
were just canceled. You
yes.
have to pivot. I mean, of course, there are going to be people sitting there just wanting to accept whatever happens and accept whatever checks they can get from the government. And that's all well and great. But if you have that ambition, like you need to get out there and figure it out. So I started just getting out there and figuring it out. Like, and the masks has been so much fun, honestly, because so I, typically do like apparel and, different kinds of items, like niche items, like just depending on the business. But the face masks has been really interesting because every business wants them and every business needs them. So we'll put on like one of their quotes, or I did one with, I live in Huntington Beach, with the Huntington Beach heart, or, just the Huntington Beach logo. And I sell them to some of the shops downtown in bulk, and then the public buys them from them. So it's like everybody's really winning, right? So that's kind of like that was
That's
a really
awesome.
cool pivot. I never thought I'd be selling face masks.
Nobody did.
So,
Yeah.
and they're actually really cute. I want to
Yeah,
just
show
bring
one.
one up. So, like, this is just one example of like, and they're
So
USA
cute.
made fabric, USA antimicrobial, USA made here in Huntington Beach. So it's just really cool. I love that I'm giving work to people also. So that's, and then the design. So I have designers that work on the design. So it's really like we're all making this happen.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And back to your first question of
Hmm.
how to stay productive and how to like really make this thing work while we're all sitting in at home and
Yeah.
um
And feeling down about our lives.
just down. I mean, every day is different. Every minute is different. I feel
True.
like it's just, no one knows how to act or what to do, but it's like the best thing you can do, I feel, is to stay productive and My biggest tip, I think, would be to have a good morning routine. Like if you're working from home and you can even take this like when you're not working from home anymore, when this is past, like having a morning routine has changed my life. Like having a good morning routine. I just recorded yesterday a podcast episode on it, and like 45 minutes of me talking about, I had to like cut it down to 30 minutes, but basically about how important a morning routine is. And, and that could be different for everybody, but I think that really sets your day up to like have the most amount of success, because the way you start your morning is the way like it sets you up, for the rest of the day. So just
Absolutely.
yeah. And I don't know if you have a morning routine, but mine is
I
like
do.
I wake up, I make the bed no matter what. I work out, I drink my green juice, I drink my coffee. I have very specific like timelines of like when everything happens. I read, I journal, like it's a whole shebang. So the podcast will go more into deep detail, but yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do
So
have one as well,
yeah.
and I didn't used to, or at least consciously used to. Everyone kind of has their own routine when they're going to their 9 to 5 job. But once you're an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur and you have all this free time, you still have to set in time for self-care, and a morning routine, I think, is a perfect way to do that. So I do a little
For
bit
sure.
of get up, make the coffee, meditate. I make the bed, but if my partner's in it still, I obviously don't
Yeah.
make it.
I have to wait too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's key to adding structure in your day, in your life, and you just feel
Mhm.
so much better and organized. Like when I don't do my meditation, I'm just like scatterbrained all day. And
For sure.
so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and let's see, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to entrepreneurs that are just starting out, especially besides the setting up a routine, but
Yeah.
especially during this time? Like I know people that are launching businesses now, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, good Lord, God
It
bless
is
you.
tough. God bless you. I feel like anyone who's even started in the past year, honestly, because
It's
it's like
true.
you're not even off your feet yet. And I actually even had a friend pretty recently quit her corporate job. And this was actually probably 6 months ago. And I
Hmm.
was like encouraging her the whole way. She's a kick-ass graphic designer, and I'm like, you could totally do this. You could you could freelance, I could help you here and do as much as I can, but I know you can make this happen. She
Hmm.
moved to St. Thomas, was living the dream.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and had to come back to New York. So I'm from New York, but so I have a lot of friends and family still there. And she went back to New York, and now she's just like, okay, I don't know what to do. It's like, all right, we got to just figure this out, because you already made a huge, drastic decision already to start this career path. And I think this is
Hmm.
to anybody who's starting something. It's like the hardest part was figuring out what you wanted to do. This is hard, and everything we're doing and going through right now is hard, but
Hmm.
the really hard decision already happened. So you really need now to just figure it out and make it work. So if that's, spending more time on your website on your own and not paying somebody,
Hmm.
that's one. And just getting more systems. That's what I'm working on a lot lately. And I'm busier than ever, I feel like, because I'm just as busy with my work, but
Me
I'm
too.
also like, right? You're like, I'm just as busy with my work. I don't really have time, but I'm going to make time to like launch my podcast, launch my blog, like make sure my website's all set up, make sure my newsletters are all good. And so I think that's really where people starting a business can focus a lot of their time. And I'd hate to take a job away from somebody who they were paying before, but I think it's a good
Mm.
opportunity for people to learn or figure out what they can do on their own, or just better some of the systems that they already kind of have in place and make them more just flow better. I think that's key in business. Like, and
Absolutely.
I'm not a good like structure. This is okay. This needs to get done. And I'm like, I know I need to make it happen, especially for business. And the podcast is like a whole nother business, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. Someone
Right.
commented yesterday, like after my interview yesterday, like you should do a podcast. And I was like, mm-mm, like I
No.
know how much work it is. I mean, at least not now at this time. I feel like I've got the three different
Yeah,
incomes coming
you've
in.
got a
It's too
lot going on.
much.
Yeah. But
But
what's
going
cool
back,
is like this, like you still
yeah,
get your like long form
abs-
personality and yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, tell us more about the podcast. I actually got the pleasure of being on Alicia's
Yeah,
an episode. When's the launch? Tell us kind of the theme. I talked
for
about
sure.
boundaries and setting boundaries to go along with the book I'm coming out with, but tell us more about the themes and who you're interviewing.
For sure. Yeah. And I actually just listened to our episode. I'm like,
Oh,
this is so great. Like it was
oh
just
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait to hear
so
it.
nice. I loved hearing from you because you've been working remotely for so long that I think a lot of people are kind of just like getting into that. And even a
Hmm.
lot of businesses are starting to like allow people to work from home even indefinitely after this. So
Absolutely.
hearing from you about boundaries was huge. It's something I didn't even really think about until I heard some of the things that you said. And I'm like, wow, I need to tell this person I'm working with that I am not working past 5 o'clock. Like you cannot text me past 5 o'clock. Like I am not
Yes.
working, I have a life. So that's huge. When you work for yourself and you work from home, you need to set a boundary because you have your own life too. Like this office right now is my office, my podcast studio, my workout studio. Like it's everything. And when I leave here, I'm like, I need to just like cut it off. So hearing from you about all that was so helpful.
Oh, good.
But
I'm so happy.
yeah, so the podcast is the Virtual Hustle Podcast, and it's all about starting businesses online, how to be successful, how to learn from other people who have done it in all areas. So it really will get down to like specific points. Like yesterday, I had one person on who is an expert in email marketing, and it's just like I want to make it very focused in each episode that where people listening can really have a good takeaway as opposed to it being like a motivational podcast. It's not going to be like, it's going to be like that mixed in. But I think
Hmm.
the most value I can bring people is how to get specific tips from people who are experts in that specific topic that we're talking about. Or
Hmm.
yeah, so that's kind of really the direction that it's going in. And I've had about 16 interviews so far, and I've
Oh,
done,
wow.
yeah, the interviews have been the most fun part. I'm like, I don't want to edit anymore. Like, this is enough value for me. Like, talking to people like you and talking to some of the other guests I've talked to, it's like, I'm blown away. I'm learning things every day, and I think that people will really learn a lot from them as well.
I'm
So
so
that's kind of
excited. Do you
helpful.
have a launch date?
So podcasting is so weird, especially like launching. You have to submit it with everything complete for at least I have the first 3 episodes done and ready. And then they say it could take 5 business days to 3 weeks. So I'm like, okay, I'm
That's a
submitting.
huge range.
Yeah. And I was talking to one of my friends who just launched, and she said it accepted her in 3 days. So I'm like, okay, I'm submitting this weekend. So
Yay.
yeah, I'm so excited. But I'm gonna do like a launch, like an official launch, I think on May 26th.
Okay. Right
Yeah, so
after
that's when.
Memorial Day
Yeah,
weekend.
right after.
Yeah.
So even if I get approved next week, it'll kind of just be like up there, but without any like big announcement, I think. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at. Unless it approves me right away, then I'll just kind of figure it out and launch sooner, I guess. But definitely in May. That was my goal. I have like my board up here, like, okay, monthly goals. It needs to launch.
Very good. That's good that you
So,
have the goals right
yeah.
there, that you see them.
Oh, it's so
Well,
important. That changed it for me.
well, definitely let me know when you
Hmm.
launch, and I'll obviously post about it. And can't wait to
For sure.
hear. Are you going to do like an episode a week or?
Yeah, so it's going to be an episode a week.
Hmm.
Likely 2 of those episodes a month will be interviews and 2 will be solos, but it might kind of vary. But yeah, every week. I'm not sure of which day yet. I feel like everybody does them on Tuesdays. What do you think?
That's true. I don't know. Maybe Fridays would be good, like going into the
You
weekend if
think?
people,
I don't know. I
or
feel
you
like
think
people are
people
like,
don't. Yeah.
I don't know. And I hate Wednesdays, but I'm thinking that Wednesdays. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but definitely every week.
You could try and see,
Yeah, that's true.
what
Yeah,
works. But
that's true. Yeah.
let's see. So what how do you deal, just going back a little bit to managing a business and such, how do you deal with time management as an entrepreneur? Do you
Mm,
use like block scheduling, or do you have a written calendar or an online calendar?
for
What's your
sure.
trick?
So all of the above. I literally
Okay.
have a written calendar where I put like big things on each day that have to be done.
Hmm.
And then my time block cube is everything. So I'll back up, but I write a whole list in the morning. So along with
Every
my morning
morning?
routine, yeah, every
Okay.
morning. It's usually like a rollover list of like all the things I just like have on my mind. And then I kind
Hmm.
of like prioritize which ones are most important.
Hmm.
And the ones that are most important get on my like the journal that's on it's a calendar. It's called the Lion Planner. It's really great. It's a planner and calendar, and it has like every day you can write your top tasks, and then it has like goals and then times. It's so fantastic. So that's when the top like 5 to 7 go in there. And if they're, time consuming tasks, I block them out like, okay, this should take me an hour. And what I think about, it's like, okay, yeah, this time it's a little prep time. It's a few minutes, but it changes the whole day, because I'm like, okay, now I know at 10:30 I can go work on this specific project for an hour, and I'm going to set my timer, my little time cube for 1 hour. And
oh, wow. You even use a timer.
Oh my God. I swear by that time cube. It's kind of like running out of batteries, and I'm like, I need to get new batteries for this. I'm not going to get anything done. But the time cube is great. Like all you have to do is like flip it. I don't know. It's just something about having like a physical cube as opposed to like putting it in my phone or something. But it's really great, because then I know in an hour I should finish that task. And if I don't, if I like really am in a groove, I'll keep going. But is it because I've looked at my phone too much? Is it because it's like, you got to just eliminate the distractions and get that one task done, because it's just, you got to get it done. So.
Wow, I love your process. You have like a whole system, which is awesome.
Yeah. And
systems
I
for everything.
Use like Trello. I use Trello for just so I can see everything that is kind of like in the pipeline, especially in Brand Medix. Like that's super important, because it's like you have stages of where everything is, when everything is, all the details. So Trello is amazing.
Yes. Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
We'll get not too sentimental, but what has entrepreneurship meant to you?
I feel like it's really being able to build the life you want to live around something you like to do. And I think that not every day I like what I do. Some minutes I'm like, this is so annoying,
Yes.
But then I look at my overall why and my overall like what I wanted my life to look like, and it's pretty much that. Like obviously I still have goals of what I want to do, but I wanted the freedom of making my own schedule, and I wanted the freedom of being able to work 4 real hard hours and not 8 hours in an office only getting 4 hours of work done. Like that just never made sense to me. I hated pretending like I was busy just because I was on the clock or whatever, and people like watching over me. It just never made sense to me. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that it's like 4 hours of focused work is sufficient. It works. You don't get burnt out. You have, it's a nice work-life balance, because then, and I'm not saying I only work 4 hours, but the principle is you can get a lot done in a few hours of focused work, as opposed to sitting around your office, like staring at the clock. Cause I've been there too. So I think that's the main thing. And, starting a business and working for yourself, it's like, that was my why, was because I wanted to really make the life I wanted to live instead of living on somebody else's 8-hour time block.
I hear ya. I'm with you. And it's funny you say that, because yesterday, the 2 ladies I interviewed, that's what they said, is when you're going through the tough time and you're like, oh, this task is so annoying or whatever, you go back to your why and you remember, oh, but I am living this freedom lifestyle. Oh, but I am making my own schedule.
For sure.
And in the end, it's all worth it, for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, I saw what's your favorite hot drink, and what do you got?
Hot drink. Well, right now I'm drinking
coffee lady.
Black coffee. Very
Got
fancy,
you.
right? It's like, oh man, yeah. No, so in the morning I drink black coffee and a green juice until like 11. I just don't eat breakfast or have anything really. It's not even really like strictly intermittent fasting. I'm just more focused when I'm like when I don't eat breakfast. I don't know what it is. So I work and drink black coffee until about 11. So, and then once I have kind of breakfast or my smoothie or whatever, I'll do like an almond milk latte, and that's when it's really fun.
Yes.
always coffee. And I'm not a huge tea drinker, but what do you drink?
Oh yeah, always coffee, usually a little bit of sugar-free cream
Yeah,
or flavored. I like flavored, so like vanilla,
me
hazelnut,
too.
anything along those
Totally.
lines are great.
For sure. You know, my
Yeah.
favorite thing recently has been to add coffee, and I'll do like the frother of almond milk, and I'll add like stevia and cacao powder. It makes
Oh.
it like a mocha, but it's healthy because cacao is like really good for you and it's not
Hmm.
filled with sugar. And I add that to the coffee and it's like, it's such a
I
delight.
I never even thought of that. I'll have to
It's
try
delicious. I want to,
that.
actually, I did. I was like, I did do a post better than whipped coffee because I truly believe it's better and it's way healthier. So
Yes. Well, you can never have too much coffee.
I know. True.
Um, so we're heading towards the end of the
Yeah.
time, but I wanted to check, is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to share, either about what you're doing or your business or a message for anybody?
Hmm. I want to just, I want everyone to live a good life, you know? Like, I truly feel
Mm,
like people, even if they are working, like, I understand that people who are working in an office or working for somebody else, it's nice to know what your income's going to be. Like, it is nice knowing you're having a paycheck every Friday or whatever. So I get that. I do feel, though, that everyone should be working on something that challenges them and that they actually enjoy. So that's why obviously hobbies are great, but it's like, working on something after work, like your side hustle, or maybe you do want to transition out of that job, but even if not, it's like having something on the side is so fulfilling. Even if you don't want to make it a legitimate, huge business, it's just like fulfilling your life and progressing in whatever it is you're doing on the side really, really makes you happy. And your day isn't filled with whatever outcomes came from your real job or your real work. It's like you get to choose how it's going to
hmm.
go based on what you're doing with your side thing. So I
And
like
I
that
love that.
whole
I
thought, you
love
know?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's definitely nice waking up. And I remember having that dreaded feeling in my stomach when I was driving to work, like, first of all, I don't have to drive anymore, but,
yeah.
just like I already know my day is going to be so eventless and like boring. And
So
I don't have
true.
that at all anymore. So it really is nice to do something that you enjoy and you're passionate about.
It's so true. It's so true. And yeah, I mean, I think we think the same in that, but I totally get people who are like, I just like knowing that I'm having a paycheck to support my family, and that's all great too. And I admire people like that also, but I don't think I
Yeah,
can ever go back,
I'm the same. I was like, I'll figure it out. I'll hustle.
no matter
I'll
what,
figure out a way.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
So, well, happy Friday, and thank you so much
yeah,
for your time and for
of
sharing
course,
your story. And I'm super
for sure.
excited for your new project. And
Thank you so much. And thank
yeah.
you so much for having me on. Everything you do is great. And I just love that we're
Oh,
connected. So, of
yeah, me too. Thanks for supporting me. And
course.
we'll be in touch soon.
For sure. Sounds good. Thank you so
Have a
much.
good
Have a
weekend.
happy weekend. Yeah.
You
Talk
too.
to you later.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.